Hey, my name is Matt. Welcome back to Alpine Roast Your Builds, also known as Build Review. Sometimes I'm mean, sometimes I'm nice. A lot of the times I just give compliments. We're going to be checking out your builds that you submitted on the Cube Discord with all of the information in the description. We're going to be checking out a very cool one-to-one recreation of a real-life city. And then we have a special segment that I have never done before, but you have to wait until the end of the video. Also, the real-life footage that you see today was footage that I took out and about in Vancouver, and I have uploaded to my City Design 101 course under the Inspirationinator. Feel free to check it out on alpine1.co. But with that being said, let's roast your Minecraft builds. Let's start it off with some build review. We have this beautiful house with some solar panels up top. What I noticed right off the bat is you have a lot of sunlight on this facade, but these don't seem to be getting a whole lot of sun. Maybe what I would do is reconsider where you position these, because if you're in the northern hemisphere, you want them to be facing south, east, or west. I really like this balcony here. It's kind of a cantilever over top of here, so it does have to be quite strong, but it is pretty cool. I also really love this pool. I love that you're using diagonals as well. I like that there's a staircase going down here, and there's a deck over here with a section on the bottom. It's always nice to have a multi-tiered house. Really great for entertaining guests. Down here you do have a table with an umbrella, which is nice. I like these chairs. You do have quite a few cars over here. You must be a collector, and a little path down the side. Very nice. Now, one thing I do see is this section right over here. I'm wondering if you could put a balcony up here, but I'm not quite sure what's inside. Here's a view from the side. There you have that cantilever once again. Very nice. Nice pool. Pretty sunny. I like it. Must be a cool climate. And by cool, I mean, you know, a nice climate. You know what I mean? Whatever. You do seem to be missing a little window up here. Not sure if that's intentional or not, but it does look very nice. Oh, here's the inside. That's pretty cool. Yeah, you have the sun streaking all the way across. Light switches there too. That's very nice. You have the bedroom with some lamps. Looks pretty cool. Little computer with the model. You have a calendar. Here's the house from the front. I do actually quite like this. This is cool. Oh, you do seem to be getting sun on this side here too. So maybe the solar panels are in the right place, but I'd have to see the orientation. Next up, look at these buildings. Look how cool this is. This is definitely a render, I would imagine, with all these different colored lights, but look how interesting this looks. You even have the logos all bright up top here. I really appreciate that it's not just building straight up and down. You do have a little bit of curvature at the bottom here, and then you decided to decorate the bottom as well. Here's another night view from up a little bit higher. That is very cool. I really like these green lights. It kind of reminds me of those pictures of New York in the 90s. Next up, we have this beautiful building. This is unbelievable. Look at the use of these skeleton heads here too. There's a lot of great texturing happening, especially over here and right here. And up on top here, I believe these are lecterns, and then you have these trap doors straight across. And there's a lot of really subtle texturing, especially up here. You have these bricks, granites, and mud bricks, I believe. But it's a really great mix of your texturing and the extra depth that you add here as well. Here's a view from the front. Very nice. I like it. Next up, we have this beautiful complex with all these really cool curves. I really love the look of this. This roof shape is very, very cool. I am a big fan, and I really like that in your skyscrapers, you do add gaps here for some visual interest. Now, I'm not sure what's going on down in this section, but if you wanted to, well, it might be a parking garage. If it's a parking garage, just leave it. But if you don't have anything on this ground floor, maybe consider adding some shops. On this side of the building, I do appreciate that you have these vertical elements here, so it does break it up a little bit. Oh, look at this. This is a very, very cool, well, yeah, I guess you have three of them, three organic looking towers. This is very nice. Oh, and I think it's by the same person that made those other towers. Here's another view. Wow, that is unbelievable. I wonder how long this took you to make. This is very, very cool. I'm curious if you made these shapes with World Edit or if you somehow did it by hand. I'm not sure, but King of Rome, let me know. Next, we have the Maven Hills Life RP. Look at this interchange. Very nice. These curves look great. Lots of other cool stuff going on here. I like the models that you have for all these vehicles. Are they actually drivable? Over here, you do have a nice apartment complex. Basketball hoop. Very nice. Nice looking car there too. Garbage truck. I appreciate that you even have the parking signs over here, and then there's a handful of garbage cans. I'm not sure which city this is based on, but since there are palm trees, I'm assuming maybe southern United States. Very realistic houses too. I like that you're going for the texturing. It looks very nice. And look at this one. You have the birds up here too. Lots of detailing, even the gas prices. King of Rome back at it again. Here is another skyscraper. Look at that. This is unbelievable. Is this a screenshot or is this a render? Because either way, this is incredible. And you have the side. Next, we have the Mega Pizzaplex. This looks like a lot of fun to explore, and I really love all this glass on top for this natural light. A little bit darker in here, but you do have the lights, so it does make up for it. But I love these water features in here. I think that's a water feature. No, maybe not. Just kidding. Oh, is this a water feature? Oh, I think this is actually a little pit that you can go down and wander around. And then you do have some water features kind of hanging out there. But the banners up here, these are a nice touch. I do love that you have these structural elements that go up and over to create this cool arch. It's always nice to have things that aren't just boxes. Nice statue in the middle here too. More skylights, lots of cool shops going on here. This would be a pretty cool map for some Hunger Games. Next up, we have this incredible city, which includes the Taipei railway station. Look how cool this is. There's so much stuff going on here. Beautiful towers. You have some diagonals, which is always nice. Cool bridge up here. Lots of traffic down here. I like the little cars. They're pretty cool. Here's another view. I have no idea what's going on with this. Is that a whale up there? Interesting. And then another view. It seems to be an arena in here. Do they play hockey? I hope they play hockey. But lots of cool stuff, lots of cars, lots of details. Very nice. I like it. Next up, we have the Sierra Towers from Grand Theft Auto 5 and also Los Angeles. Here's a view from the bottom. It is pretty hard to critique this since this is a real life building. I have gone through this door many, many times with my apartment up on, I don't know which floor, but I mean, I bet you have an apartment up there too. Nice pool. You have some trees going on here. I do have a little bit of a tip for your trees. I would make them a little bit more bushy. And if you're using the fences here, you can actually take them out a little bit to create little branches. But if they are palm trees, then maybe you don't want branches coming out. But I would definitely recommend adding a little bit more up top here. There's those trees again. But yeah, definitely don't skimp out on your trees. But otherwise, this looks pretty good. Up next, we have the city of Toronto in a 1:1 scale with full interior. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I built a building hiding behind this one over here. I have visited this project quite a few times. Actually, you know what? Let's go visit it right now. Okay, welcome to Building Toronto. This is a very, very, very cool server. And when they say the entire thing is furnished, they are not kidding. It is very cool, but we're gonna have a quick fly around here because I do have another video if you would like to see it in more detail. But one very important building that we have not seen on this channel is the CN Tower. So we're gonna go over this way and check it out. Now, I really love coming on here and exploring this map. If you would like to help, you can join their Discord, join the server, check them out. They are more than happy to have you. This one is Union Station down here. This is the major station in Toronto. But one thing that's very, very cool about the server is you see those name tags up there? You can go up to the NPCs and you can say hi. What's up? I'm skipping the line. How's it going? Hey there, Alpine One. Want to take a look at what the team has been working on recently? Yes, of course I do. Epic. Let me take a look at the map. There we go. Hold on to your hats. Whoa. Now you can start a quest. And they have a whole bunch of different quests that you can go around and check out and figure it out. Some of them are a little bit mysterious. Some of them are a little bit easier. Some are a little bit more difficult, but it does keep you quite entertained. Down here, we have the Via Rail Station, which I have been to more than once. Now, if we go up this way, we will get to the platform, and here is a Via Rail train, which is very cool. They also have Toronto's GO trains right over here in green. But if we head out this way, I would like to see the CN Tower. Where is it? Where's it hiding? It's around here somewhere. But along the way, whoa, there it is. Are you ready for this? Check this out. 1:1 scale, fully furnished, including the gift shop way at the bottom. But as we check this out, and we can actually go up the elevator. You know what? Maybe let's do that. But you can see all these really cool buildings that are hanging out around here. Over here, you have where the Toronto Blue Jays play, which is very cool. And I believe this roof actually does move. It moves in real life, but they somehow figured out how to make it move in Minecraft as well to cover this whole thing. And this building here, I believe, is the one where they gave me the penthouse. See how the top 2 floors are not lit? I am going to be furnishing this penthouse. I don't know when, but I'm going to be doing it. It is very cool. So stay tuned. But let's go back to the CN. Wait, where'd it go? CN Tower. It is so cool. This at one point was the tallest tower in the world. It is not technically a building because for a building, you need to have floors all the way down, and this one does not. But if we elytra all the way down here, let's go to the entrance and come on in. See? Fully furnished. can walk down here. And I might be going back. Yeah, I think I'm going backwards here. But this is the gift shop, which is actually quite accurate. It has been a few years. Oh, Canada merch. It has been a few years since I've been in here, but yeah, it does indeed look like this. So if we can find the elevator to indoor observation at 346 meters. I believe the CN Tower is more than 500 meters tall, but the observation deck is quite up there. Whoa, that's pretty cool. I didn't know you could do this. But you do have the windows on this side, which my render distance is not high enough to be able to see outside. I do have to figure out my distant horizons for this world, but it is quite cool. And man, is this thing ever tall. And if you do go in the CN Tower in real life, it is quite fast. I don't know if it's this fast, but it is quite fast. Whoa, I think we're here. Welcome to the CN Tower observation deck. Oh yeah, there's, see that waiter up there? There's actually a revolving restaurant on the floor above. But over here, okay, my render distance isn't high enough, but wow, what's going on here? I hear a chicken around here somewhere. I don't know what's going on with that. But a little bar here, that's cool. Places to sit down. And yeah, look at that. See those towers all the way down there? We are very, very, very high up. But this is so cool. Very accurate. Ooh, what's up here? I definitely want to go up here. Is this the restaurant? Yeah, there we go. Here is the restaurant. Hey, host. Hey, waiter. Waiter, hello. I would like a table. Thank you. Very cool. I love this flooring too. Very nice. Yeah, this would be a very cool place to have some supper. But if we head all the way back down, this is very cool. I would definitely recommend checking this out for yourself. BuildingTO.ca on Java 1.21.4. Come check it out. Next, we have a Korean style city built entirely in survival. I love all of the little details with these signs, and you have the little chest shops. Now, I love this, but one thing that I would recommend doing, and of course this is okay on its own, but typically you see a lot more city blocks like this, and they do tend to be a lot more dense instead of just buildings standing on their own with roads going around it. Now, I'm also not an expert on Korean city planning, so maybe you can correct me on this. But even if you wanted to, instead of having 3 individual buildings like this, you could extend it out. So you have 3, and then right beside it, you can have another 3. You can make a little courtyard in the middle, and then you could have the road wrapping all the way around it. But that's up to you. Here's a view from all the way out. This is a very cool tower. I do like that. You do seem to have a lot of roads. I'm not sure why you go from, well, 4 lanes down to 3, and then down to 1 right here. I feel like maybe you could get rid of this one. I mean, these dividers are nice, but you could potentially just go down to 2 instead. Look at this little shop here. You have another building in the city. Look at that. That looks cool. Is this a real life one, maybe? But that's it for this one, so very nice. Okay, next up we have a low-rise apartment, and I believe these might be shops down here. So I do have a couple of tips for you, although this is a great start. My first tip is instead of using full blocks here, you could potentially switch to glass panes, and that'll give you a little bit more depth. Same thing on this side. I would also recommend adding 1 block around the perimeter of your roof. Those are called parapets. That keeps the water from falling off the side. I also see that you have grass underneath your glass here, so definitely replace that. I typically use light depending on what you have in your surroundings, but maybe some light on the bottom would be good. Next, we have this apartment building. This is quite nice. I do like the colors. One thing that I would recommend, you see up here, very, very small detail, but right up here between the connection of the gray and white area, maybe add a little bit of depth here, even if you wanted to add maybe some trap doors along here, just so that it's not flush. Kind of the same idea right here. Now, again, you can break any rule that I say, and it's also not rules. You can do whatever you want. You do have free will. But typically for the changes in materials, you're going to want to have a bit of depth separation. Now, I think down here it does actually work because this is the ground floor and you do have this shop here where you have these lines continuing this way. But maybe up here you could change it, but it's up to you. I really do appreciate that these balconies stick out a little bit. Same thing here. It does add some nice depth. Next, we have a beautiful city. Look how cool this looks. You even have fighter jets up here too. Very nice. Are those mountains in Minecraft too? There's a lot happening, and I really, really love these buildings down here. Sort of reminds me of Denmark, perhaps. But my favorite build is probably this one up here. Look how cool that looks. Are these stairs right in the middle to make those little details going up and down. That's very cool. There also seems to be maybe a church back here. I would love to see that. And I mean, look at all of these really intricate buildings. This must have taken you forever to make. Look at all this. I think this one is either a recreation or maybe inspired by the Pod Hotel in Japan. Here's a close-up view of one of the other buildings. Look at the amount of detail on this. I can't even imagine how long this would have taken you. Another view of the skyline, beautiful mountains. I love that. And then you have the skyline back here. Is that the Woolworth building? Or a replica of it, maybe. Another view, you do have a lot of empty streets, so maybe if you have time, I see you have a lot of time to make buildings, maybe consider adding some vehicles as well. And here's one last picture for you. Very nice. I love all the colors, love all the trees as well. Maybe one thing I would recommend is changing up some of your tree types. I do see that you have quite a few, but I can tell that they were copy and pasted. A little trick that I like to use, even if you have the same type of tree, you can paste a tree, you rotate it 90 degrees, paste it again, rotate 90, paste it again, and that way it's a little bit more difficult to tell that they're the same. Another trick that I use is you can also chop off the bottom or extend the trees a little bit so they're slightly different heights. But other than that, this is fantastic. Thank you for the submission. The King of Rome strikes again. You have the Gherkin in London. Look at this. Night view. Unbelievable. Even more. Check that out. Even down here, you have this other tower. Oh, is this to clean the windows and goes around? That's cool. And one last night shot. I remember when Sherlock was up here filming. Next up, we have Thoughtburg City. Look at this. I appreciate that you have all of your diagonal roads and a couple cars down here, but one big criticism I have is you have a lot of streetlights. I would typically recommend spacing your streetlights about 30 blocks apart. Here it seems to be about 5 or 6. Now I don't know if this is in survival or not and you're trying to prevent mobs from spawning, but maybe consider light blocks as well. I love all the low-rise buildings, or maybe they'd be considered mid-rises, but it's quite nice that it forms this wall along the street. And one thing you'll also notice is that as you go back, the skyline grows upwards, which is a very, very great urban planning technique. We have a 1-to-1 scale replica of the World Trade Centers in 2001. Next, we have some planes. Did it really have to be after the last one? All right, the planes look good though. Next, we have this building, which I believe to be offices. Now, similar to the other one that I reviewed, I would recommend maybe using some panes here instead of full blocks. I also noticed that your floors are only 3 tall. Now, unless you're building in a 1-to-1 scale, I would recommend bringing that up a little bit and having 2 blocks between each floor, which means I would also recommend making your windows a little bit larger. Right now, with only 1 block between your floor, that means your floor and ceiling blocks inside have to be the same. It also means that you can't put lights in your ceiling, so you have to figure out lighting some other way. Otherwise, I think it looks pretty good. On top of your parapets, which I do see that you have, and I appreciate that, I would recommend either changing this top block or adding maybe a slab or a trapdoor on top just to give it a little bit of visual difference. Next, we have Terra Flow, Future of Resident. Look at this. Dirt house. Very nice. Another angle. This is actually quite cool. This is interesting architectural concept. I see up top you have these green roofs, which makes sense since it's made of dirt. Oh, I've seen this one before. Yeah, this is a very cool building. It looks like it's right out of New York. I don't really have any criticisms of this build, but I am curious why your balconies here are 2 tall instead of just 1. Now in Minecraft, I know if it's 1 tall, you can jump over it, but I'm curious to hear your reasoning for 2. I really love the form of this building and that the balconies go up and then sort of back this way. It creates a lot of visual interest, and this is also a trick that I use where the middle, probably 50, 60, 70% of the building is stackable, but once you get up closer to the top, that's where you change it up. And then same thing on the bottom. See how this is also different than this middle section? This is nice because you have shops down here. Now this is very important when you design a building, but if you have sidewalks with a lot of people walking by, you definitely want to have your shops have a lot of windows so that people can walk by, they can see in, and they can say, yeah, I actually want to go in the store. And then they'll go in, spend money, and then you get money from rent. Next, we have the facade of a theater. This is very cool. I'm not sure what textures these are, but the depth in this build is very nice, and these bricks do look very, very good. Next, we have a city. Look at this. I recognize a few of these buildings. This is on Billionaires Row in New York. Okay, maybe I just recognize one, but this definitely feels like New York. I love the brick. I love all of the setbacks once you start to get up here. Now, a big thing with cities that people tend to forget is that you also have to build these smaller buildings as well, and I actually think these ones are the most important, because if you just have big buildings and you're walking around on the ground, it's not nearly as exciting. So you've done a very, very good job at incorporating a bunch of different size buildings. I really love all this stuff that's going on up here too. You have all these very detailed rooftops, and it's not just regular boxes. You also have these ones with this sort of shed roof. Well, it's not a shed. What do you call it? I don't know. A roof that's sloped. But yeah, very nice. Lots of cool details. Thank you for the submission. Next, we have this city beachfront with a Ferris wheel and lighthouse. This is very nice. Oh, look at that. You even have a little sandcastle down there. That's actually a very cool idea. I see there's this building back here, which has some cool diagonal stuff going on. I like that idea. I believe there's stairs, but yeah, this is a really cool idea for some building facades. I also very much appreciate this Ferris wheel. That is very cool. And this building back here, that's also quite nice. Next, we have a suburb, which does look very cool, but I do have a criticism, particularly of this corner. When you are driving, you probably don't want these very sharp corners, right? Because if you're coming this way, trying to turn down here, then if somebody else coming here, they can't turn immediately. They have to pull out this way and then turn, which means that if you're coming this way, you have to stop. I do love that you have trees all along here. They're very small, which means they, well, will still grow. Lots of interesting power lines going on up here, and I'm not sure what's going on here. Are these solar panels maybe? That's pretty cool. Now what you could do back here, I see the grass is quite bare. I know you have this nice pattern out front, so you could either repeat that back there or maybe have a little bit more natural blocks going on back here. Whether that be trees or grass or gardens, it's up to you. Here's a view from the cul-de-sac. I really like this design for the basketball hoop. You also have the little details of your compost and your recycling. And over here, you do have this train line, which is very nice. Next, we have this build by Zen. Look how cool this looks. This is in Cube Pack. If you want to check out this texture pack, the link is in the description. Lots of crazy stuff going on here. I recognize these posters. Very nice. You have, yeah, I mean, I really don't have any criticisms of this, aside from, you know, whoever owns this building, maybe they should maintain it. You also have these really cool power lines. I don't know how you did this, but that is very nice. All right, we're back in Thoughtburg City again. Check this out. They have some new builds, nice train station down here. This is also a very cool idea. If you're wondering for things to add to your Minecraft city, you can have some builds that are under construction. You see they have this shear wall here and then a crane over top. Now, one thing for the crane, I would actually recommend that you bring it up a little bit higher. And I know it's already built, but maybe for your next one, you can change the type of crane. With this type of crane, it's the one that swivels around. And if you have a building right here, that's probably not ideal. So maybe if you have, I think it's called a boom lift. I'm going to get corrected, but comment section, help me out. Here's another part of their city. Look at this. Oh, you have a gondola up here going up the mountain. And down here, look at that. You have a nice bridge going over here, and then you have this water flowing down here. And look at all this. You have a little cafe or a restaurant down here. This is beautiful. And one last angle. There's that building again. Lots of trees going on here. I really, really like that. Next up, we have this beautiful church. Look at the texturing and the detailing and the depth. Absolutely unbelievable. I know I'm supposed to be roasting your builds, but you guys are good. I'm also Canadian, so I don't want to be too mean, but it's pretty hard to be mean about this. Now, I really appreciate that you could have just brought it all the way across here and stacked it, but you took the effort to bring it out here and then add these extra details here and then change up this window and bring it up like this. Nice build. Love it. Next, we have a math and science center. This is very nice. I do like this. Is this Cube Pack? Maybe? No, it looks like default. What's going on here? Is this I don't know what block this is. It seems to be a mix, but it is very cool. I love that you have the bike parking down here. That is always very nice to have. Inside as well, it would be very cool if you have these things called end of trip facilities, so that if you bike all the way here, you can go in, you can take a quick shower and get turned around before you go to your class. I'm really a big fan of these colors here too. You have this blue and then you have this sort of teal that matches with it, a little bit of lighter blue. And I see you kind of match it down here. And this green from the tree, it complements it quite well. And it works very, very well with this grayscale. Here's the back side of it. You go all the way around and then you have this section as a low rise. I like that you have your mechanical equipment up top as well. Here is an interpretation of the Swedish Parliament building. This is very nice. This is also in Cube Pack. I really don't have that many comments on this because yeah, no, this is also very, very well done. I love the contrast in colors between the orange and the more sandstone textures. And I don't know what this is, but that is very nice. I like that you have the arches here. I believe that's a new Cube Pack feature. There's a lot of really cool stuff. Again, if you want to check out Cube Pack, the link is in the description. Up top, you have these, what do you call it, railings? I knew that. And I don't know if these are dragon eggs, but they do look quite cool on top of here. And I do see that you have a handful of them up here as well. Now I would like to introduce a new segment called Car Review. Here's a car. Very nice. That's yeah, that's a good looking car. Here's another car. What's up? How's it going? Oh, there's an actual car. Hey car, how you doing? Pat, pat, pat. Yep, that's a nice looking car. Hey car, how you doing? The car is very round. Yes, very nice. I'd give it probably a 10 out of 10. Hello, car. What's up? Pat, pat. Here's another car for you. Car review. Yep, I'd say that's a pretty good car. Very outside. I don't know how muddy the paws are going to be. Or the wheels. What do you call it? Wheels? All right, good to know. Another car. Yep, that's a good looking car. I wonder what kind of car that is. A gray car? Maybe? I don't think that's a brand. Car ran out of gas. You gotta go to the gas station. But, it happens. This car can't see too well, but, he's trying his best. Another car hiding down here. This one's a bit blocky. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Oh, yeah, this is the city. This is a very fluffy car. Oh, hello. How you doing? Looks a little mischievous. Might want to get those headlights checked. What's up, car? How you doing? Car's just looking around the corner, ready to go for a drive, I'd say. And the car ran out of gas. Ah, man. And this car, it's not mine, but I did take this picture, and I did find this car sitting on the sidewalk a couple weeks ago, and then yesterday I was out and I found the car again in the exact same spot. No way. It's the same cat in the same spot. Oh, big stretch. Just like last time. What's up, dude? What's up? How's it going? Hey, buddy. Yeah, there you go. Okay, gotta go. See ya. This is a car that likes to be in a field. Maybe it's an off-road one. Somebody's friend's car, sideways car, loafing car, musical cars, four-wheel drive car. Pat, pat. So that is all for this video. If you like this video, click like. If you really like it, click bonus segment. Oh, you thought the video was over? No, it is time for a bonus segment of Pine Time. I've been getting some questions from people on how to actually build these street lights. So that's what I am going to do today. It's very, very simple, but I'm going to walk you through it. You do need a little bit of world edit to get some of these details, but I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. Step 1. You are going to want to have a curb for your road, and then you're going to put it back by 1. Don't put it right connected into here, because if a car hits it, now you don't have a light. Don't do that. So you're going to take some andesite. You need some andesite walls. This here is a sandstone wall. More andesite, another wall, some slabs of andesite, and some polished diorite slabs. And we're going to need one extra secret block, which I will show you at the end. So what you're going to want to do, go up here, go 1, put a wall, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then on top of the 9th wall, you're going to put, oh, hello tree. You're going to put 1 block of andesite, another andesite wall, and then see how it pokes out this way. You're going to take your andesite slab, go 1, up by 1. You're going to have 2, so 1, and then 2, and then you're going to have another 2. So it kind of creates that nice arc over top. Now, by itself, yeah, I mean, maybe if you added a 3rd one, it could look cool, but if you take your polished diorite slab and put it on the underneath of this one here, which is why it's so important to start it here instead of down here, now it starts to look like a pretty cool streetlight. If you take your sandstone wall and you go 1, 2, 3, so up on the 3rd wall, 1, 2, 3, bring it out here. So the only intention of this one is to be a crossing signal. So if you are way over here and we zoom in, you can see that crossing signal right there. Now, if you do have either a debug stick or world edits, you can take this like this. And a little trick that I like to use is use world edit and then get rid of these other ones. And one last one, there you go. So now this sticks out on all the sides, and now it is flush with this block down here. You get a little something like this. And if you wanted to, you could do the same thing up at the very top. And voila, there you go. That doesn't look too bad. And now, we're not done yet. We have one secret block. Now, if we set the time to night, you will notice that this one emits lights up here and also down here, whereas the one we just built does not. So we are going to use some world edits or a light block. So if we take a red block there and one here as well, I'm going to use my world edit wand and replace this with light. So if I do /set light, that's how you do it with world edit. There you go. You have that down there. And you can do the same thing right up here. Now, I believe you should be able to use a command if you are opt on a server, or if it's a single player world with cheats on, you should be able to get a light block in your inventory and place it by hand. If there's somebody in the comment section that happens to know that command off the top of your head, please let the people know, and that would be very much appreciated. Okay, now it's the end of the video. Goodbye. Actually, before we go, we are going to take a look at this city. Check it out. This is the city of Sequoia. I've been posting lots of videos about it. It is very cool. See that terrain back there? That is actual terrain that you can explore. And if you want this terrain, not the city itself, but if you want the terrain made by Rainy, who's a very, very talented Minecraft builder, you can download it under free tools at alpine1.co. Now, if we fly over very quickly, I am using distant horizons, so the chunks might be a little bit weird when they're loading. But yeah, you can actually explore this. All of these trees are by Rainy, and this is terrain based on Metro Vancouver, British Columbia. This would be North Vancouver, but it is using GIS, Geographical Information System data.